circuits and smiles. Nuts.
Hello Transformers fans, this is a Porch Dork video review, and this time I'm doing a custom review. Many of you may have seen some of the Transformers products that some of the fans have been making on the forums from Shapeways, and this is my first, well, let me take that back, this is my second one that I've ever bought. The first piece was some heels for the fans Project Springer figure to make him stand better. But this particular video review is for Fake Busker 83's Thugger Twins. These are supposed to be the War for Cybertron Rumble and Frenzy figures, and they're made to work with the War for Cybertron Soundwave figure. They transform into cybertronian cassettes that fit into War for Cybertron Soundwave's chest. And they're pretty neat little figures. You have to put them together. They come from Shapeways, which comes out of Europe, and basically you get these little plastic pieces that you get to put together. And Fake Busker 83 does put up some instructions for you, which I'll be following. Here's kind of the basic setup of the figure. You can see how all the little parts kind of fit together there. It's actually a pretty cool little instruction sheet that he put together. And the pieces come in individual packages when you order them from Shapeways. Shapeways actually left out a piece from my second figure, so I'll have to get an extra piece before I'll have two of them. But I have enough to make one, which would be fine for the review. And here's how the pieces come. You'll get a thighs and lower arms piece, you'll get a weapons piece, you'll get a torso and head piece, you'll get the lower the legs and the feet, and the shoulders and upper arms. So you can kind of get a good idea, and then you can print them off in different materials. I went with one that I don't think anyone had done yet, which was the super high detail frosted. And you can kind of see, taking a look at it here, it's sort of like a clear plasticky material, but it picks up the details really well. I understand that depending on which material you use, you can lose some of the detail in it, and these are very, very small figures, so I wanted to gather as much detail as possible. And I heard that this particular material was fairly good as far as durability. So we'll see how that goes. If you follow the instructions on the forum site, what he asks you to do is, for this particular material, which is detailed, you want to go ahead and get yourself a brush of some kind. I just have an old toothbrush here that I cleaned up. And then you'll want to go ahead and take a glass of warm water. Probably want to use a glass instead of maybe the sink, so that you don't have, you don't lose the parts, because I mean, some of these parts are so tiny. I mean, if you look at this piece here, this is one of the parts for the shoulder and the upper arms, and it's just super tiny. I mean, I have kind of small fingers, and I mean, that's my pinky, and you can see how small it is. And those are like two pieces right there, not a single piece. The head is, I don't know, maybe the size of 4 pinheads put side to side. It's very tiny. So you want to make sure that when you're cleaning it, you go ahead and put it in a glass so that you don't lose it down the sink. And make sure the water's warm, so that you're making sure you're rubbing off all of the uncured pieces, so that all you end up with is the 3D model that was made. So using the magic of digital editing, I'm going to go ahead and clean up these figures, and I'm going to put them together for you for the next part of the review. So I got all the pieces assembled, and I only had one piece of breakage, which the creator actually had mentioned to me that he had ordered these in the same material, the ultra frosted detail, and he broke his. He wasn't able to actually get it together, at least all the pieces, I should say. I didn't have that problem. The only small piece of breakage that I had was actually my own fault. The way the shoulders are done, if I can bring in this picture here, the way the shoulders are done, you can see there's these armor pieces here, and they've kind of got an angular out part. Well, a lot of Transformers, the angular part for a shoulder piece usually goes the other way, and this is actually done this way on purpose because it fits with the chest and it's part of the transformation. I didn't pay enough attention with the second shoulder, and I reversed it, and I was trying to put that piece on here, and it cracked part of the chest, actually on the back part, just part of the chest cracked off. I took some super glue, glued it back on, popped the ball joint on while the glue was drying. It's solid now. The break was nothing. You can't even tell that it's there. But just as a quality wise, I wanted to say that. Now, I've got him here, and you can't really tell that he's here, which is awesome, because he fits inside the chest piece of Soundwave. So if I open up Soundwave here, I can go ahead and pull the figure out, and here you can see him in the cassette mode, and the details are really nice. It's kind of a clear plastic, obviously, because these aren't painted. I understand that the RIT dyes actually work really well with these, and you could probably dye most of the paint and then just do a little bit of touch-up, which is what I plan to do. But I was really impressed. I think it's awesome that it fits in the chest piece. It fits really well. It doesn't feel like I'm squishing it or anything, and I like that these little knobs here fit into the notches on the side of Soundwave's chest here and here to really provide a good fit. I debated going back and forth whether I was going to do the transformation on video or not. I think I'm going to. I will say that these are incredibly tiny, and some of the ball joints are very small. It's probably not a piece that I would feel comfortable transforming often, just because those are so small, and the normal wear and tear that would come with transformations back and forth. I don't know how well they would hold up. They probably would hold up fine. I'm just probably not willing to test that. I mean, these aren't much of an expense. I think I paid, for this particular material, I think I paid like $12 for the figure, and they don't come in sets, so you do need $12 per figure. So if you want to have a Rumble and a Frenzy, you're going to have to pay $12.50 for both, or for each. So it's not much of an investment, but it's 25 bucks. So I was kind of like, meh. I don't know if I'll be transforming them a lot back and forth. I really like the robot mode, actually. Anybody who's going to buy these just to store them in Soundwave's chest and leave them there, probably not worth the investment. But the robot mode is awesome. So these little notch pieces here that tab into Soundwave's chest are actually the weapons, and they come off. And it's actually pretty clever how the joints that hold them together fit. You can kind of see here there's like a cross design, sort of like a Phillips head screwdriver. Well, you have that same cross design here in the weapon. Actually, probably help if I separate the weapons. So the weapons combine like this when you're going to put them in for tape cassette mode or rocket launcher mode, whichever you're going to use them for. But you can see there, you can see through the see-through part, and those parts just clip into these head parts here, which have similar notches. And there's actually two there for the transformation, and then there's backpack storage ones, and then back of the arm ones, which I'm guessing is for pile driver. So the transformation is probably going to be really hard to make out, but I'll do the best that I can. The legs fold down. They're on a ball joint here, so you just swivel the ball joint down, bring the legs so they're face forward. The feet fold out like that. Do the same thing on the other side. It's actually, I found it's a lot easier if you unfold the foot and then you turn the ball joint, because my ball joints on the feet are kind of tight. And then bring the other foot down. And now we've kind of got the legs. With the arms, they're kind of on a ball joint where you need to take the shoulder piece and you need to rotate it so that the tab parts for the weapons actually face up still, like that. And then the fists in the hands are actually in there, and I didn't push mine in all the way because they're so tiny and I didn't want to lose them. So you just undo the fists and then bring the arms down, rotate it so that this part is pointing out. Do the same thing on the other side. I know that's really hard to make out, but there's the fist. And then you rotate it like that. Bring the arm down. And there you kind of got the body. And then the heads on on this little piece here that swivels up. I'm just realizing I had it backwards. So this is the front, so let me rotate the feet around. It's kind of hard to make out with the clear details, that's why I did that. So yeah, there's the robot mode, and it's really nice. I doubt my camera is going to be able to pick up the detail on the face. I will give it a shot and we'll see if it'll go. Doesn't look like it wants to pick it up. I don't know if it's the clear on it or not. I will include some pictures that I'll take with our nice camera that should be able to pick up some of the details for the face. Again, I mean, you can kind of see this is my pinky, and this is the head right up against my pinky. It's super, super tiny. I probably need to get a macro lens in order to pick that up. You can see the one QC issue I have with mine, which I plan to fix with some super glue, is that the head's kind of loose. It's a very small issue considering, but let me put him down right here. He stands great. The ball joints in the feet allow for a really good amount of poses, but as you can see, he's really tiny. Here is the perfect effect Shadow Warrior standing next to him, and he's probably about half the size of Shadow Warrior, and Shadow Warrior is freakishly small. For another size comparison, here is the boombox mode for the world's smallest blaster. So let me grab the weapons here, and I'll kind of show you how those work. They're really neat. They're sort of like combination laser cannon, and then if you flip them upside down, they could be the pile drivers. But again, I showed you the little notches on the side. So if you're going for the pile drivers, you just plug them in like that. Do the same thing with the other side. Plug it in. It's actually a nice solid connection. I got to give kudos to FakeBusker83. It's a really clever way to connect the weapons. I actually would like to see a large manufacturer do that with their weapons because it works really well. But there's the pile driver thing, and you know, you could do the typical pile driver pose. If I can get it on camera here, you know, you could do the typical pile driver pose, and then as well you could unplug it and you could plug it on the shoulder. If I can get it in there. You could have a nice, awesome shoulder cannon like that, which is pretty cool. And then there's also storage on the back if you wanted. Got to work on getting that head fixed. But there's also storage on the back if you wanted to do that. So yeah, it's a really awesome purchase for like 12 bucks. I don't know what the backlog is, if there's even one right now at all for these figures, but I think I waited like maybe a couple of weeks for mine. And they send them UPS from like Sweden, I think it is, or somewhere over in Europe, which really surprised me because considering the price, I mean, I've tried to ship something overseas UPS before, and it was a crazy amount of money, and they don't charge anything for shipping for these other than the cost of the actual toy itself. So I'm not really sure how that's working for them and how they're going to make their money back on that, but it was awesome. Like I said, I was really thrilled with it for the money. They're very tiny. You need to be very careful when you're putting them together. The head is on a ball joint. I don't even know if you can make out that I'm moving the head at all, but the arms are on a ball joint. They can go out to the side like that. They got full knee movement. The foot is on a ball joint. The head can be moved back a little bit so it can look up. Doesn't move forward. The head's on a full ball joint. It's crazy articulated. Actually, I would say that the articulation is pretty much the same as this guy. If you go on this guy, it's pretty much the same thing, only smaller, and a little bit more head movement because you don't get a ball joint with these guys. I highly recommend these if you've got $12 to spend and want to take a chance and are very careful with putting together your pieces. If you're used to putting together model kits or anything like that, you probably won't have a problem with it. I took my time. Definitely going to need yourself one of these for cutting the pieces off the sprue, and for making sure that after you cut them off the sprue that the ball joints are nice and rounded, because you want those ball joints nice and round so that they don't rub on the inside and potentially break off a piece for you. So I want to thank FakeBusker83 for making these guys. They're totally awesome. I should mention this is the third iteration of them. He's had like 2 or 3 different versions, and I think this is the third. They're available. I'll have a link on my video to his Shapeways store where you can go and order them. If you have any questions, make sure and let me know. I'll probably do an update video at some point after I get these guys painted and I get the missing piece from Shapeways for my other one, so I can have both of them. And I'll probably have a picture up of the Canon mode for vehicle mode for Soundwave. This has been Porchadork doing a video review of FakeBusker's The Thugger Twins. Thanks for watching.